Hello, everyone. I'm Blayne Gilmer. Welcome to Southeastern 14, daily coverage of the Southeastern Conference football, baseball, basketball. You can find it right here on this channel. So if that's what you enjoy, the greatest conference in all of college sports, and you want information and news and analysis on it each and every day, subscribe, like, turn on notifications. We would greatly appreciate it. Guys, we're here to talk about a freeze warning. Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers, they are hot on the recruiting trail right now, and that is going to continue throughout the month of August and into September, as they are about to get a couple of big commitments. We're going to talk about those here soon, and then what that could parlay itself into based on a successful season on the field to continue that momentum that they're feeling on the recruiting trail. Guys, this is what Auburn knew that they were getting. This is why they went out and decided to go get Hugh Freeze. There were some detractors here and there because of things that have happened in his past. The success that he had at Liberty, was that really success? Things like that? No. Hugh Freeze knows how to build relationships with high school coaches. He knows how to build relationships with recruits. And in the era of NIL, Hugh Freeze knows how to get everyone aligned at Auburn, which is the biggest deal, from the boosters to the administration to the collectives that are there to the football program, all being able to work in unison to collectively pool resources and be able to utilize those resources as effectively as possible. Plus, being able to the relationship piece, Hugh Freeze has a way to work a room, to build relationships with guys. Keeping Cadillac Williams on staff was absolutely huge towards the efforts of keeping a Auburn culture, what Auburn is known for, kind of the if you could have bottled that environment when Cadillac Williams and company won that game last year when he was the interim head coach. It seemed like Auburn was headed to the SEC championship game. That's how much excitement there was with Cadillac Williams at the end with that program and how hard they played. That's because I think he understands what it means to be an Auburn man. And I think Hugh Freeze saw that, said we've got to keep him, and now he's utilizing that and also building upon that as a foundation towards what Auburn can be in the future under Hugh Freeze. Now, let's talk a little bit about recruiting and kind of go backwards a little bit before we look forwards. Of course, this kind of started early on, this summer when Joseph Phillips, an inside linebacker from Tuskegee, Alabama, that you see right here. He can play some outside, but he's going to be an inside linebacker at the next level. He was all but committed to Georgia. Told Georgia, hey, I'm wanting to come there, and was getting really, really close to making an announcement. Auburn came in on this one late. Literally every person in the recruiting industry had a prediction to Georgia. Auburn jumps in late and is able to keep him inside of the Alabama state lines. A big pickup for Hugh Freeze and that defense at Auburn going forward, because Joseph Phillips is a guy who is versatile. Like I said, you can slide him outside on third downs to rush the passer. He is very, very talented at that, but also a guy that is built well, can stop the run, an in-state guy. Hugh Freeze keeping premier talent inside the state of Alabama. That is huge in winning some of those battles. Then to stay at inside linebacker, they flipped Demarcus Riddick, very, very talented inside linebacker from Georgia. Demarcus Riddick is a guy that for all the world people thought was going to flip from Georgia to Alabama for a long time. Nick Saban riding him around in the Mercedes. But this is a 5-star inside linebacker that flipped to Auburn after being committed to Georgia for about a year. A guy from Clinton, Alabama, that everybody in the recruiting industry believes is just a surefire stud at the next level. He's got the length that you see now. He's 6'2", 220, prototypical size that you see at the inside linebacker position now in college football. He can really run, shed blocks. He'll be athletic enough where he can have some coverage ability as well. If you have to go man to man, he can cover a tight end if he needs to. But Demarcus Riddick, a 5-star recruit flipping from Georgia, the back-to-back national champions, to Auburn, really sent a message saying, hey, Auburn is something to deal with here on the recruiting trail. Then they follow it up by flipping Perry Thompson from Alabama, and he is a 5-star receiver. Listen, that just doesn't happen here lately, right? Auburn's not the one known for all the talented receivers and things like that. And heck, even you think back to 2019, it was George Pickens getting flipped away from Auburn to Georgia, a 5-star guy from the state of Alabama out of Hoover that got ripped away from them. They're just not known for getting big-time receivers. Here comes Hugh Freeze, Perry Thompson. He says War Eagle. He switches over from Alabama to Auburn, and now the recruiting war is on, right? Hugh Freeze has officially put everyone on notice with that kind of flip. Then he goes into the state of Georgia and pulls Jalewis Solomon, a guy who Georgia recruited, who a lot of other SEC schools recruited, but specifically South Carolina. It looked for all the world that he was going to be a South Carolina commit. South Carolina had all the momentum, leading right up into about the last week and a half of this recruitment. And here comes Hugh Freeze and company sliding in right there on Jalewis Solomon. This is a guy from Schley County in Georgia that can star on both sides of the ball, but he's going to be a defensive back at Auburn. Great instincts, great ball skills. This is a big pickup because Auburn is going to need replenishment in the secondary there after this 2023 season. Then TJ Lindsey, an IMG product, not something that Auburn has gotten a ton of here lately. And now, you get a 6'3", 270-pound guy who can play anywhere from a 3 technique to a 5 technique, slide him out, be versatile. Got him over Arkansas, over Texas. So that is a big time get when you're able to beat out other SEC schools, because now you're directly competing against Texas as well as an SEC school. They get to say, hey, we're in that conference too. So when it comes down to it, a huge victory picking up TJ Lindsey out of IMG. So that is where Auburn has had victories here lately. Now you're looking at, on August 19th, Kamarion Franklin, a guy that is a 4-star defensive line prospect. Ole Miss, of course, with him being a guy out of the state of Mississippi, was all over in Tennessee, had a lot of momentum. Miami was involved in this, but Auburn has absolutely shut it all down here lately. And with the decision coming up this Saturday, August 19th, Kamarion Franklin looks like he's going to be an Auburn Tiger, and Hugh Freeze and company really have some momentum cooking now. He's a top 40 prospect. And when it comes down to it, Kamarion Franklin's the type of guy at 6'5", 260 that can be versatile. He can do a lot of different things along that defensive front that's really going to help Hugh Freeze and company kind of change the perception of that roster and change the ability to do certain things defensively that you see the Alabamas and the Georgias and the LSUs do, because they get these type of freak athletes that are able to play in multiple positions. And Auburn, all of a sudden, with one recruiting class, is going to be inching closer and closer to a top 10 class. And then with what they're able to do on the field, which we'll talk about in just a minute, the momentum could really start to snowball here for Hugh Freeze and company. And then Deandre Carter. Early in September, we're probably going to see a commitment from Deandre Carter to the Auburn Tigers. You see his dad with the Mater Dei hat on. He's a big offensive lineman out of Mater Dei High School. USC was on him, Texas was on him, but Deandre Carter has came out for Big Cat Weekend to Auburn, has had a lot of communication with Auburn. It's just been trending that way for a while now. Auburn is a prohibitive leader. This is a consensus, top 150 prospect out there. across the recruiting industry, a 4-star. Listen, Brandon Baker got a lot of the hype over there playing right tackle for Modern Day. DeAndre Carter played left tackle. I like DeAndre Carter better out of the two. He's probably going to kick inside at the college level, but I'm telling you, with the ability that he has to bend and the ability that he has to move his feet at left tackle, listen, he's got versatility. Now he's 6'3.5", 340. So he's, like I said, he's probably going to jump inside and play guard. But I'm telling you, the athleticism with DeAndre Carter is off the charts, and they have a big swell of momentum in that recruitment right now. So if you add Kamarion Franklin to this class, if you add DeAndre Carter to this class that is currently ranked in the top 15 in the country, you're looking at a class that's going to get up towards that, inside that top 10 in the country in a hurry, and maybe even creep up into the top half of the top 10. Get up towards a top 5 class. That could be huge. And then who knows what happens later down the line if they're able to add a tight end to the picture. They're looking to add another tight end. They're looking to add another running back. And also, they're not going to give up on Cam Coleman, a 5-star wide receiver from the state of Alabama that's committed to Texas A&M, kind of shockingly committed to Texas A&M. Auburn's not giving up there. They're not giving up on Nye Carr, who is a Georgia commit right now. But it all comes down to what happens, I think, on the field. And I think what you're going to see here in the first 3 games, Auburn has very, very winnable games. UMass at home, at California. You have Samford at home, and then at Texas A&M. I think that is a huge game for momentum when it comes to Auburn. If they're able to start off 4-0 with a road victory at Kyle Field, Peyton Thorne, Robbie Ashford, whoever's the guy over there, I think it'll be Peyton Thorne. But if they're able to take Peyton Thorne, Jarquez Hunter, Hugh Freeze can go on the road and get a little SEC magic rolling, get a victory, then you're talking about a 4-0 start with rival Georgia coming to town. All these big-time recruits having an opportunity to experience that kind of environment. It could be a huge day for recruiting. Despite what happens on the field, Georgia will be heavily favored, but coming in there in that environment with that excitement around the program, Hugh Freeze getting things going year one, that could be a massive groundswell for recruiting momentum. Guys, Hugh Freeze, like I said, it's a freeze warning, okay, because he is coming in and trying to create his spot there in the SEC, and he's doing a great job on the recruiting trail. Can that translate over to the field? I think Auburn is going to be a tough out this year when it comes to teams coming to Jordan-Hare Stadium and then also welcome them into their place. So get excited about it if you're an Auburn fan. I think Hugh Freeze is going to do some really good things there on the Plains, especially on the recruiting trail here in the next couple of months. Let us know what you think. Leave your comments, like, subscribe, turn on notifications. And like I said, we cover SEC football, baseball, basketball here every single day. So if that's the kind of content you enjoy, make sure you join us right here. That subscribe button is absolutely free. Hit that thumbs up, and we'll catch you guys next time to talk more SEC sports on a daily basis right here on Southeastern 14.